15 of us. What I remember most of Grandpa Ernie is how he was such a devoted grandfather to his whole family and all of his grandkids. He was such a family man. Having 15 grandchildren never stopped him from attending my events as a child, from singing recitals to basketball games. He was always there. Grandpa's taught us all the importance of family and to always be there for one another. One story I have is after my transplant, he was in Texas, and I said my final goodbyes to Grandma and Grandpa over the phone because I couldn't see them before I went in. And I woke up a few days later and Grandpa showed up with this cross and said that he was called to buy it and bring it to me. He hung it up on my hospital window. And something he always said, he was like, you might have hard times ahead of you, but God truly loves you because you're still here. And he's like, I love you. And he was such a man of faith and hope that he said that God can help you through anything. And I truly, as Mitchell said, prayer will help you through life's events. As I can attest, Grandpa helped me go back to God because there was a time there I questioned why me. But Grandpa really helped me steer in the right direction of going back to God. And that's what I'll miss most about him is his faith and seeing him at family celebrations. But somehow he's always here. So we just have to have faith and hope in God that he's taken care of, and he is. So that's all I have to say. So Megan's next.
Hannah. So, you had a heart transplant?
Oh yeah, I had to go on with a heart
I thought I wouldn't prepare anything because I'm usually pretty good at coming up with stuff, but I haven't been able to hold it together while watching everyone else. So I was like, oh my gosh. And just so overwhelmed with how amazing my grandpa was. I am so thankful. I'm going to miss so many things about him. I'm going to miss the hugs. He always gave these firm, loving hugs. He always greeted you with a hey Squirt or hey Elizabeth. And I miss that a lot. Like everyone has said, he was such a supportive grandpa. I remember sitting on his lap watching Tessa's soccer games, seeing him out in the crowd at a play that I was in. And he was so proud of his grandchildren as well. I remember when I got him excited to go to college, he was thrilled. And I remember being so proud that I was good at math like my grandpa was. Yeah, I'm just so thankful for the man that he was, and that even though he had 15 grandchildren, none of us felt left out. You know, he's able to love us all so well, and I think he did that so well because he had so many to love. So yeah, that's all I have to say.
Hi everyone, I'm Caitlin. As most of you know, I spent a lot of my childhood at Grandma and Grandpa's house because of my parents' unusual work schedule. This meant being dropped off late at night, early in the morning, being picked up after school, and everything in between. Regardless of the time of day, Grandpa was always there to greet me with a smile and would have some sort of plan for us to accomplish during the time I would be spending with them. There was simply no such thing as a boring day with Grandpa. With him, adventures would consist of many things. After school, he would help me with all of my homework and then would create worksheets of his own for me to fill out. After, he would grade them, quite critically at times I must say, and help me fix my mistakes. We would spend endless hours in his office, splitting our time between work and play. It even got to the point where he built me my own little office in the closet so I could work just like him. Or maybe so he could actually get some work done. With his help, I learned the importance of hard work and how to push your own limits, which has helped me immensely in my adult years. Other days we would walk to Zernsky Lake through the forest behind his house. However, before we could do so, we were required to take a nap so we would be energized for the hike. Looking back, I think those naps were mainly for him, but I went along with it. As I've grown, I've come to realize the importance of taking a nap here and there and have him to thank for that. Once we got to the park, he would let me play to my heart's content. He would always push me on the swings, asking me how high I wanted to go, where the only correct response was to the moon, and he always delivered. After spending countless days and nights at their house while my parents worked, there are still days I wish I could go back and have just one more adventure with him. One more conversation in his office, one more trip to the park, one more soccer game with him on the sidelines. These are the types of memories that I will forever hold dear to my heart. Although it is going to be hard going through life without him by our sides, it is comforting to know that there will be a seat saved for him at every dinner, every wedding, every graduation, and more. I am the luckiest girl in the world to have had such a bond with Grandpa. But to me, he was more than that. He was my teacher, my cheerleader, my caretaker, and my friend, and he always will be.
And next we have Paige. Hi, I'm Paige. When I think about my grandpa, my head just fills with all the wonderful memories of family. He was such a family man. I can always remember seeing his face in the crowd at every dance recital and school function, seeing the smile on his face at every holiday and family gathering. He truly loved each and every one of us. Every holiday we would spend together was always big and special with amazing food, fun activities, and us all being together, talking and laughing. I'm really going to miss all of the speeches at Christmas that he would give. They would always make my heart happy and full. And I love you, Grandpa. So we have two more, Allie and TJ. TJ's our youngest grandchild. I'm also reading on behalf of Allie and TJ. So here's Allie's. My name is Allie. I'm Ernie Bonnett's youngest granddaughter. I would have to say my favorite time and memory with Grandpa was a recent one. On their 60th anniversary, I was given the opportunity to try on Grandma's wedding dress. Coming out and seeing Grandpa's face just light up and his eyes starting to water. I could feel all the love that he had when Grandma came down to the aisle in that very same gown. I think we all know by now just how much of all a loving family man Ernie was. I'm blessed to have had him teach and install such amazing values and morals into all of us grandkids. I just want him to know how grateful I am for this big family he created. Excuse me. And last but not least, TJ's. The smell of a pipe always indicated that there was another person on the sidelines rooting me on. If there's one thing we can take from Grandpa's love for us, we know that he will support us through thick and thin, even if we don't have the smell of his pipe to constantly remind us of that fact. But with that said, I know that if we look close enough at our lives, we can see constant reminders of Grandpa's unbounded support for us. This will inevitably help us realize that Grandpa's support is not the kind that is limited by death. Even if he isn't on the sidelines smoking his pipe, picking us up from school, or taking us to lunch at Culver's, we can all rest easy knowing that there's a devoted family man upstairs whispering to God's ear as we all speak. So, thank you everyone for listening to all of us grandkids speak for our grandfather. We love you all.
So thanks again for listening to the grandkids farewell and their thoughts. You could tell he was deservedly loved. one thing that you guys, you kind of know more about how he cared about his family, especially the people from work and, Bridge Club and the poker group is here. For the past 4 years, I mentioned how tomorrow was the dad's 85th birthday. But for the past 4 years or so, we've kind of commandeered this facility and had his birthday and a family day, and it worked out perfect. He loved it. 3 years ago, his sister and her husband, his sister's husband, he had a sister that passed away years ago. And they came up, his 2 nieces, and his cousin and her husband from Denver. And he would love that. He would love this. He should be here. Even before we were here, for years and years, his birthday party was at Walnut Grove Park. He would get up, and knowing how meticulous Dad is, he'd get up after daybreak, take his gas leak blower, a broom, a bucket of water, and go catch a pavilion at Walnut Grove, clean it, get it all ready. Some of the kids would come join him midday or mid-morning, keep him company until the picnic and things like that. And he was in his element. He loved it. We miss him. And that's a roundabout way of explaining why we're sitting here in the heat and why we picked today to clean the best. So we appreciate you all being here, and we appreciate you being Dad's friend. We love you all. Thanks.